She just told me I should sit here because she's my friend. Thank you very much.
there was a couple, a man and a woman mixed us. They were both very it was funny because the guy
And now, presenting the gal who's going to tell you how to live the luxury life for less, Marilyn Anderson.
Hi everybody, I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you for coming. Before I begin, I actually want to ask you a couple of questions. Number one, how many people here like to save money? How many people here like to spend money? And how many people here like to save money on things that other people people are spending money on. Well, that's why we're here tonight. I'm going to tell you how to live like a millionaire when you're a million short. I wrote the book on that. And I'm going to be talking about different categories tonight. I'll be talking about entertainment and travel, shopping and fashion, health and beauty, home decor, and more. But before we get into it, I want to tell you how it all started. See, I'm a writer, and as a writer, sometimes you might make a chunk of money, and other times you could go weeks or months or a year or even years without making anything. But, you know, I have friends who have steady jobs and steady paychecks, and they never do anything fun. They don't travel, they don't buy things, they don't go to theater. They say they're always broke. But here I am, a writer who could go like a year without a job, and I'm going to theater 3 times a week, and I'm traveling on vacations, and I'm buying things, and people would always ask me, how does Marilyn live? In fact, the 3 questions of the universe are, what is the meaning of life? Is there a God? And how does Marilyn live? In fact, one of my writing partners, Ira, he had a best friend who was a big TV producer. And unfortunately, the producer passed away. But Ira told me that on his deathbed, he didn't say, tell my mother I love her, or say goodbye to my friends, or I'm sorry I was such an asshole. No, he called Ira over to the side and he whispered in his ear, how does Marilyn live? So I decided to reveal all my secrets, and that's when I wrote the book. Now, I want to tell you, I wasn't always a writer. Actually, I went to school and I have a couple degrees in biology and physiology. And then I moved to Washington, D.C., and I worked as a biomedical information specialist at the Institute of Laboratory Animal Resources at the National Academy of Sciences National Research Council. Say that 5 times fast. And then one day I said, I don't want to be a scientist. I want to be a star. You see how that works out. No, so I was going to do it. So I quit my job, sold my car, sold my furniture, sold my boyfriend, didn't get much for him, and I moved to New York to become a star. And actually, when I got to New York, I got into a Broadway show the first week I got there. And I sang, and I danced, and I acted, and the show ended after 8 performances. Not because I wasn't wonderful, it just was a bad show. And then I did stand-up for a while. I used to go on back-to-back with another guy you've never heard of, Jerry Seinfeld. So then, after being in New York for a while, I decided I either needed to take a vacation or get a job. Let's see, vacation or job. You know what that one was. So I took a vacation on the West Coast, and I never went back. And I did what everybody does the first time they get to Hollywood. I wrote a screenplay. And people all said to me, oh, you'll never get anybody to look at it, you'll never get an agent. And I got one of the hottest agencies in town, the Agency of the Superstars, ASS. And you know, that particular script didn't sell at the time. Actually, 20 years later, it got made. But I did take a lot of meetings, and then I started writing for TV. And I wrote for Murphy Brown, I wrote for Fame, I wrote on a show with Carol Burnett, not the original show, I'm not that old, but with Carol Burnett, Jeremy Piven, and Richard Kind. In fact, it was their first TV show, so I sort of think I'm responsible for their careers. And although I usually write comedy, I can also kill 6 people an hour. Unfortunately, not the people of my choice. But I wrote 3 Friday the 13th this year. And then I actually wrote a screenplay, and it was optioned by Hollywood 8 times and never made. And so I decided no more options, and I went out and I raised the money myself, and I made the movie How to Beat a Bully. And that is kind of like a Home Alone kind of comedy with an anti-bullying theme. And I had to take a few zeros off the end, but I'm really proud of it. It's on Amazon Prime and YouTube and IMDb and a lot of platforms. And we sold 50,000 units of the DVD to Walmart. Of course, now everybody says, what's a DVD? But I have a little rock. Okay. So then, one day at lunch, I got an idea for my first book. And my first book was Never Kiss a Frog, A Girl's Guide to Creatures from the Dating Swamp. And in it, I tell women the men to avoid. I do it with stories and comical illustrations and word warnings. So I'll give you some examples. I have Count Frogula, and he's got a cape and fangs, and the word warning is, any guy who drains the life out of you sucks. Then there's Sir Frog-a-Lot. He's a frog like a knight in shiny armor, in slimy armor. And his word warning is, he's all flowers, candy, and tons of romance, but that all ends when he gets in your pants. And then, of course, I have to have the God Frogger. And he is dressed as a mafioso. And his word warning is, if he's a wise guy, be a wise girl. Forget about it. So that was my book, Never Kiss a Frog, and I have to say, it opened up a lot of doors. I became the flirting and kissing coach on Extreme Makeover. That was really fun. And then when I went to Taiwan, I actually gave kissing lessons to a busload of tourists during a monsoon while the driver was high on betel nuts. So it took me a long way. Then the next book I wrote, which is on Kindle only, is Muttweiler in Autodogography. Actually, I can't take credit for it. My dog dog-tated it to me. He would have been here tonight, but he's home writing a sequel, right? And then my most recent book is actually a mystery thriller novel, and I wrote it with 2 other partners. And because it's so different from other things, I used a pen name on it, M.J. Richards. But that's Dishonor Thy Father. Now, I think it's not so unusual that I ended up writing books, because my mother, when I was growing up, was a librarian. In fact, my whole house was arranged according to the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, she'd introduce her friends to me and introduce me as Anderson, Marilyn, Sea Princess, Jewish American. But I knew she loved me because every 2 weeks she'd renew me. And my father was very affected by it too. For instance, if they were making love and the phone rang, my mother would get up and leave a bookmark. But she turned it into something very, very creative. In the old days, there was dial a joke and dial a prayer. Well, my mom came up with a new one. It's called Dial a Jewish Mother. You know, this is the only one of the services where if you don't call it for 2 weeks, it calls you. She said, so Marilyn, are you dating anyone special? Yeah, Ma, I'm seeing an albino mutant with hoofs. Is he single? My mother was very strict, really, because I think that's why I became a scientist, because she wanted me to meet a doctor. You know, I met them, I just didn't marry them. But actually, when I was a teenager, she was so strict. She tried to take out an insurance policy on my virginity. The closest she could get was collision. $100 deductible. And that is the stand-up portion of the evening. So now we're going to talk about how to live like a millionaire when you're a million short. But as I said, there's going to be different categories. And my first category is, that's entertainment, because I love entertainment. And one of the things I super love is live theater. And what's better than live theater? Free live theater. Guess you all know about that tonight. Well, my favorite tip with regard to this is a place called soldoutcrowd.com. And Sold Out Crowd is an organization you join for a year for $95, and then you can go to the theater all year long for only a service fee of $4.50 a ticket. And you get 2 tickets, and they have the Amundsen, when it's open, the Mark Taper, the Geffen, Pasadena Playhouse, the Wallace, plus all the little theaters around town. And it's just like $4 a ticket, which is pretty amazing. And then there's a place called Theater Extras. And Theater Extras is the same kind of deal. It's you pay $98 a year, and their service charge is $5. But the good thing about Theater Extras is they also have a branch in New York. So if you're going to New York, or if you know somebody who lives there, they can get $5 tickets, 2 $5 tickets to Broadway shows. I mean, I was there last Thanksgiving. I went for a week and I saw 9 shows. And 5 of them were Broadway shows that I saw through Theater Extras for $5 a ticket. And it's a win-win, I mean, because the theaters want to fill up their seats. And also, if you join either of these and you use my name, you can get the first 4 tickets free. So that's like a savings right there of, without any service charge, of either $16 to $20, depending which you join. And the other thing, you know, when you go to the theater, invite a friend. They don't have to know you only paid $4. And if you're taking them to the theater, guess what? They'll take you to dinner. So it works out really well. So that's, of course, there's also Today Ticks, and there's lotteries and Rush. The lottery, if you win the lottery for Hamilton, you can actually sit in the first row for $10 a seat. So those are always great. And then the Robinson has what they call $20 Tuesdays, where they drop a set of tickets on Tuesdays. There's a lot of different ways to get discounts, because theater tickets can run hundreds of dollars. And of course, if you can afford it, give to the theater, because theater artists need it. But if you're on a budget or don't have the money, these are great places to go. And of course, in Los Angeles, for movies, there's so many opportunities to see free movies. There's IDA is the International Documentary Association, plus if you know anybody in the Guild has a lot of screenings. And there's other groups that give a lot of things. And every year there's the French American Film Festival. And it's held at the Directors Guild. And they have a lot of French movies that are, a lot of them are free, and a lot of them have receptions, which means free wine and cheese, and it's a great place to go and see French films and enjoy the people, and it's usually free. And some of the tickets cost money, but a lot of them are absolutely free. So there's a lot of things, and there's a lot more in my book. Now, I'm a foodie. I love to eat, but I hate to cook. In fact, no man's mother will be jealous that I cook better than her. But, you know, restaurants can get really expensive, so I tend to either go at happy hours. And happy hours, a place can have, like, you know, meals that will cost you $100 to get out, but they'll have a happy hour for $9 or for $8 for food, and you still get the ambiance and everything. Then there's Groupon, of course, and I use Groupons a lot. In fact, if I ever get married, I'm registering at Groupon. But I never buy just regular tickets at Groupon. I wait for the sales, because they have like 10% off, 20% off, 30% off, or $10 off. So that's great. There's also restaurant.com. And restaurant.com is, they have 18,000 restaurants across the country, and you pay for a $25 certificate. Usually it's $5 or $10, but again, I wait for the sales till it goes down to 4 or 3 or 2, and then I stock up on the ones that I like, and you can go to a lot of new places. Now, how would you like to be paid to go out to eat? Yeah. Sounds good? Well, there's a couple of places. One is called Bestmark, and then there's Coil, and they're mystery shopping places. Now, I don't like to do little mystery shops like the Target or the gas station, but these are food places, and they'll pay for you at a fancy restaurant, and then they'll give you $10 or $20, and you fill out a form afterwards. And then there's a new place called Observati, which, you know, I signed up. You'd have to pay a little to sign up, and they give you a little bit of money to review it. But then I found out they don't pay for your meal, so I said, I'm not going to this one. But anyway, that's some of the things. And I love to eat, as I said, I've been taking diet pills. I don't eat less, I just eat faster. Now, I must confess, I'm on internet dating. I love it. You know, I like to meet a lot of people and go out and I go on internet dates. But the one thing I hate about the guys on internet dating is when they want to meet for coffee. Why would they want to meet for coffee? Because it's cheap, and so are they. But I say, you know, why go spend, you know, and also they want to meet for coffee. Can you think of any place less romantic than going to a coffee shop, coffee house, where everybody, 99.9% of the people are on their computers? That's not what I call a cute meet, you know? So I say instead, why not go someplace where you can have free wine, free appetizers, free culture, go to an art opening. I love art openings. You know, and you can go with a date, you can go with your friends, you can go alone. I really like art openings. So I went to this place down in Venice, California, the Louvre it's called, and I was looking at a painting there, and I asked the rep, I said, how much is this? She said, $350. I said, wow, that is really reasonable, $350. She said, no, it's $350,000. And the guy next to me was buying it. I could have met a millionaire, except he was married, and he was gay. And then I went to another art gallery in Bergamot Station, and it was about the size of this stage. I mean, it was a teeny tiny gallery. And I walked in, and the first person I saw was Kim Kardashian. And then I turned and looked, and I saw Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. And then on the other side, I saw James Brolin, who was Barbara Streisand's husband. So I had met him many, many years ago, before he married Barbara. And he was really nice. You know, we had a nice conversation. So I thought, oh, he's here. I'm going to go up to him and say, I know why you married Barbara. It's because she reminded you of me. But just then Barbara Streisand walked over. So I don't think I should say it. She was mumbling under her breath, people who meet people. Yeah, but as I said, in Los Angeles, we're very fortunate because we have all kinds of places to go, and whether you see famous people or whether you see and meet other new people, it's just a great place to be. So that's a few of the things I touched upon in entertainment. Now, my next category is live and learn and love. And this is interesting because, of course, during the pandemic, everybody had to stay home. And I learned a lot of things that either they weren't before or they were there, but I just didn't know about them. For instance, did you know that you could go to Harvard or Yale for free? Hard to believe, right? But there are actually Harvard and Yale and universities all over the country give free classes online. And there's a couple places. One is called edx.org or coursera.org or classcentral.com. And there are literally thousands of classes that they give. And you can just go on your computer and either learn something just for fun or start a new career or further your own career. They have courses in religion, computers, philosophy, IT, languages, almost anything. I have a girlfriend who took a class in happiness at Yale. Of course she was happy, she went to Yale. But so that's one of the things you can do. The other thing, of course, there's TED Talks. And TED Talks are so wonderful. This is sort of like a TED Talk, with a little extra comedy. But TED Talks are great, and if you can't go in person, they have them online. Also, YouTube is a fabulous place to learn things. You could learn carpentry, you could learn ceramics. I have a friend who actually painted her sofa. And I don't mean painted like the wood parts. No, she painted the fabric of her sofa, and it looked amazing. And she learned it on YouTube. So that's pretty amazing. And also for shows, if you don't feel like going out to a show, or it costs a lot of money and you need a babysitter and this and that, you can find almost 100 Broadway shows on YouTube. You just put in live Broadway shows, and there's everything from Sunset Boulevard to Aladdin to Frozen, if you've got kids. And I really liked Legally Blonde because they had the lyrics, so you could sing along, you know. And I actually, you know, liked the lyrics to Mamma Mia so much that when I stayed home, you know, I would exercise to it. And look at all the weight I lost. Yeah. My booty didn't look bad either. So that's why I say live and learn and love. And speaking of how to live like a millionaire, we have our next topic, which is making space and making money. Now, during the pandemic, of course, we all had to stay home. And I would talk to my girlfriends, and what's the first thing that we all said we were going to do? Organize our closets. How many people organize their closets? Not me. But what I say instead is go into your closet and come out with cash. And how do you do that? Well, you know, I had some things in my closets and in my jewelry box particularly. I had like bracelets and necklaces that had been given to me when I was 12 years old. And guess where they've been since I was 12 years old? In the jewelry box. Now somebody could say, oh, but your aunt gave that to your take a picture. Now we have phones. Take a picture and you can take it to the realreal.com and get money for it and buy something either there or elsewhere that you're going to actually wear and think of your aunt or your grandmother or whoever gave it to you. I mean, I had so many things that were just sitting there. So I made like a few $1,000s. It was great. And the realreal.com is an online consignment shop. So, you know, with a regular consignment shop, you have to, you know, hope people are going to pass by or that they're going to know about the place and go there. But with the realreal.com, it goes out to the world. And they take designer clothes, they take fine jewelry. Then, if you don't have designer things, but you still want to sell your thing, there's a place like Poshmark, or ThredUp, or Tradesy. So there's a lot of ways to sell your clothes. Then, you know, does anybody want to buy a boa? So then, if you have home goods, that's another thing. You can sell them, and my boa just looks like an animal. It wants to keep moving. There we go. So then, there's places like nextdoor.com or OfferUp where you can sell things or buy them inexpensively. But what I like, how many people like freebies? My favorite way to get free things is a group called Buy Nothing. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Buy Nothing is people in your own neighborhood who are just giving things away. You know, it's a big recycling community these days. But they don't just give old things. I mean, they give furniture, they give clothes, they give home items. I got a chair, literally that's worth about $1,000, and somebody was just giving it away. It's really carved beautifully and everything. I got a shirt that still had the $100 tag on it. So Buy Nothing, if you can join on Facebook, it's just the best. And I also give things on Buy Nothing that I am not going to use either anymore, or if I got something new, I can give it on. There's also free things on nextdoor.com and on OfferUp, and even on Craigslist. But I prefer Buy Nothing. That's like my very, very favorite place. And talking about getting stuff for free, have you ever heard of a thing called a Yankee swap? A Yankee swap is when you get together with a bunch of friends. It could be Facebook friends, it could be friends of your neighborhood, whatever. And everybody brings stuff, you know, that they don't use or want anymore. A lot of it could be clothes or it could be home goods. And maybe you serve some wine or some, you know, beverages, whatever. And people just take what they want. Let me tell you, you've never seen such a happy group as a group of women who get a whole new wardrobe and drink wine at the same time. So that's a Yankee swap. And sometimes actually Buy Nothing groups do it once a month, I know a group that does it outside in a park, and you can just go and take everything that you want. So it's a great way to do it. Now, in terms of clothes, you know, I like to wear fun clothes and nice clothes, but I don't like to spend the expensive, you know, real expensive things. But there's a place called renttherunway.com. Maybe some of you know it, but you know, if you want to go to a wedding or something and you want to look smashing in a $2,000 dress, well, do what the celebrities do. Wear it and then give it back. And Rent the Runway, you can rent like a $2,000 dress for $50. Wear it, you don't have to clean it, you just send it back, they pay for shipping. And there's a couple of other places like this. There's La Tote, there's Winnie V, there's Nulu. So I think it's a great way. And what I like too about Rent the Runway, especially if you have a daughter or a granddaughter, what a great gift. They have a monthly program where for like $99 a month, you can just get clothes and send them back, and get clothes and send them back. Like when we used to do that with DVDs, I used to call it the Netflix of fashion. But it's a great thing, and as I said, there are several places now that are doing the rent thing, you know. But the other thing with that I do with really expensive stores like Neiman Marcus, I can go to Neiman Marcus, but I wouldn't buy anything there. But if you sign up for Neiman Marcus's emails or for Nordstrom's emails, they have tremendous sales that are never in the stores. So like if I was in Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus and I saw a jacket that was like $600, I would try it on and it would look nice, but I wouldn't spend that money. But guess what? Because I get their emails, I see when it goes down to $400 or $200 or $60, and that's when I buy it. So I say sign up for those emails because you can get some tremendous deals there. So that's some of the making space and making money. And then there is a consignment shop here in town that I like called Trove LA. It's in Westwood. It's a really big consignment place. So I do like that, but otherwise I like to go online. And I bought some jewelry also at therealreal.com because even though somebody else wore it, it's new to you, and so you can change it up and wear a great thing. Also, you can all just, I always see on TikTok these days where people are saying, oh, make money this way, make money that way, and I don't know how much of this is true, but I will say I put an app on my phone called S'more, like the s'mores peanut butter, but it's called S'more. You can just put the app on, you don't have to do anything, and you make like $20 a month not doing anything. They give you gift cards. So I put it on, and every month I get like an extra gift card to go to CVS, or they have it for Walmart or for Amazon or whatever. So I highly recommend that. So now we're going to move on to the, speaking of making money, the next one is called Missing Money. Now we talked about getting freebies. How would you like to just get money given to you? Well, so many people I know don't know about this, and this is money that belongs to you. If you go to missingmoney.com, they actually have billions of dollars there that is just waiting for people to claim it. And what it is, it's unclaimed property. Well, some people say property. I don't know property, but it's actually money. And it's money that the state is holding for you. Now, I'll go on sometimes and I look not just for me, but I look for my friends. And I told a friend of mine that his name popped up on Missing Money, that he had money waiting for him. And he said, oh, I don't do that stuff. It's a scam. I don't do it. I said, please, just go on it and fill out the form. It doesn't cost anything. He said, nah, I'm not going to do it. I like how to hit him over the head. You know, come on, just do this. So finally, he went, he put his name in, and money, you know, it popped up, you have money. He filled out the form. A few months later, he got a letter from Texas saying, we are sending you a check. He still didn't believe it. 2 weeks later, he got a check for $12,000. True story. True story. Yes, some people have gotten $200,000 because don't just do it for yourself. You can do it for your parents, for your grandparents, as long as you can prove you're the descendant. And there's money in it. As I said, it's got billions of dollars. Now, the first time I did it, I put in my name, and I had $450. Then about a month later, I said, let me check again. It said I had money. I was so excited. I had 22 cents. But hey, you know, it works. But don't just do it for the city in which you live. If you've moved around, do it for other cities and states. And as I said, do it for your friends. So that's an assignment for you. I want you all tomorrow, when you're at home sometime. It takes 5 minutes to look. Go to missingmoney.com. Now sometimes if their state isn't on it, it might say you have to go to the state website, the official state website. So in California, that's what it's going to tell you to do because it's not on the main Missing Money page. So you go to the California website, you put in unclaimed property, and a form will pop up, and then you put the city and state in which you live. And I would say 8 out of 10 people have money that they didn't know they had. So that's missing money. Now we're going to go to our next one. Looking good and feeling good. Now, I have very thick hair. Actually, thick hair and thin legs, better than the reverse. But if I were to go out to a regular hair salon, I go about every 3 weeks, it would cost me to get my hair colored and cut anywhere from $200 to $300 almost every single time, which over a year's time would be like thousands of dollars. Well, I can't afford that, and I was never good at doing my own hair. But I go as a hair model. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute, I'm not young, I'm not thin, I'm not gorgeous, but the only thing you need to be a hair model is hair. So I go to different salons all over the city as a hair model, and sometimes, you know, it's a repeat time, and you can go to a place called salonapprentice.com and sign up as a volunteer, and then they will send you every week different salons that are looking for hair models. And they treat you very nicely. I went, you know, the last time I went, they gave me mimosas and little cookies. And if you're getting your hair cut, it could be free. If you're getting color, it might cost like $35 for a product. But if I went to a regular salon, it would cost me a few $100s, I assure you. So I do that. Of course, there's also Groupons where you can get it, and then there's Tony and Guy where you can get like 2 blow dries for $15. But I like going as a hair model. Now, during the pandemic, I couldn't go to salons, and I was so, you know, what am I going to do? And I got like salon quality color from E-Salon and from Madison Reed. But then my hair was growing long, like Rapunzel. And I thought, what do I do to cut my hair? Well, I went to YouTube. And I looked at do-it-yourself videos on YouTube. And I found out that for my long hair, I could just take my hair, put it in a ponytail in the front, and snip it at the bottom, and it came out in perfect layers. Yeah, I cut my hair myself. And the thing is, then it only takes 10 minutes. If I go to a salon, I'm there for a couple of hours. So it saves time and money. But I do like being a hair model because it's fun and you get pampered and whatnot. And now for nails, during the pandemic, I was using, you know, press-on nails. But I also discovered a place called Color Street Nails. And Color Street is fun because it's press-on, but it's not as thick. And they have all different patterns, and they have, like, during Thanksgiving, you can get a pumpkin or a pilgrim, and at Christmas you can get a snowman or Santa Claus, or I could get frogs, you know. So they have all kinds of things. That's Color Street Nails. Now, in addition to hair, now I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, I told you about a gym before, you know, when I showed you my great new body. Well, actually, on Facebook now and then, I'm sure it's on the other ones too, I often see popping up, like, join this clinical trial or join this. Well, you know, I knew I had to go back to a gym, but I really wanted a trainer. I can't afford a trainer, right? So it came up on Facebook, actually, a personal trainer, come to this gym and we'll pay you I said, that sounds good. So I joined it. It was some kind of a study, but I ended up going to this gym in Santa Monica for 8 weeks, 3 times a week, and I had a personal trainer, and they paid me $200. But then when it was over, did I go back to the gym? No. Now let's talk about medicine. Oh my God. Is the cost of drugs making you sick? You know, it's really terrible what they're charging now. So I have 2 things that I recommend. There's goodrx.com, and you can get a free card, and then you look online at different pharmacies near you, and it will tell you how much the drugs are. And oftentimes, they'll be less than even your copay is. Another thing, Mark Cuban, he was really upset with how we're all being ripped off by the pharmaceutical companies. So he started his own drug place. He teamed up with Cost Plus Drugs. And every drug on their list is at price, but with 15% overage. So at least you know what you're getting, and they're not ripping you off tremendously. So I do recommend those too. And then of course with doctors, you don't know, but actually sometimes you can negotiate with doctors. But I will tell you an experience with my dentist. My dentist for years was telling me that I needed to go to a periodontist. So finally, after putting it off, I went to a periodontist, and he told me I needed gum flap surgery. Gum flap surgery is where they cut your gums, you know, and they do something with the bone, and they cut your gums, and that would be $5,000. And then a couple of weeks later, you have to go back where they scrape your upper palate, and they take some of that skin and they graft it onto your gums, and that's another $5,000. So it's $10,000 cutting, pain, recovery. He said, when do you want to make an appointment? I said, I'll call you. So I went home and I said, what would the author of this book do? So what I did is I went online and I looked for alternatives to gum flap surgery. Well, I found out there was something called LANAP. And LANAP is laser-assisted surgery, but they don't do any cutting, they don't do any scraping, they don't, graft. They just use the laser on each side, and it regenerates bone. And it's still, $5,000, that's not so good, but I found that there was a place in Cerritos called Millennium Dental, where they train not students, but dentists and periodontists who have been in business for maybe, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but they're switching to this technique. So I called them, and they said, come on down and we'll see if you qualify. Well, I qualified, and so I went down there to get my gums done, and I had no cutting, no grafting, no pain, and no $10,000. And I got my girlfriend in too, and so she didn't have $10,000. Plus, the next year they gave us all our teeth cleanings free. So that was really good. So there's oftentimes maybe an alternative, whether it's medical or dental, to something, and doctors don't often tell you if it's something that they themselves don't do. For instance, I looked at myself on TV after my first book. I did, a lot of TV stuff. And when I was a kid, all the 16-year-olds were getting nose jobs. But I never wanted a nose job, But I watched myself on TV after one of my books was on, and suddenly I saw a bump that I didn't have before. And actually, when you get older, I think you lose a little cartilage. So, I thought, oh, do I want to have a nose job now? And I talked to some people, and it was like $20,000, $25,000 for a nose job. Plus, they break your nose, you get black and blue, you have pain, you have suffering. Then, I discovered the 15-minute nose job. And this is a non-surgical nose job. A lot of people do it now. And all they do is they inject you with, Restylane or Juvederm or different things. And it takes 15 minutes. There's no pain. There's no breaking of the nose. And it costs maybe $1,200 or $2,000. But that's a lot less than $20,000 to $25,000 and going through surgery and pain and suffering of $25,000. So I went in for that. And not only that, but I said to the doctor, I said, well, I'm a writer. Would you like an article written about you? And so he gave it to me for free, and I wrote an article. So that's the other thing. You can sometimes trade things that you have. Now, you might not be a writer, but you know, a lot of people are doing blogs now. I knew somebody who did a blog on watches, and he was getting all kinds of watches. I have a girlfriend who does graphology, handwriting analysis, and every month, once a month, she would go to a spa. And they would give her free spa services, and she would either read people's handwriting or teach them graphology. So there's a lot of things you can do that you can make a trade and enjoy your life on things that would be expensive that are not. So those are a couple of the medical things that I wanted to tell you about. And as I said, sometimes if you're going to a doctor, now everybody likes to put things on TikTok or on YouTube, so you could say, hey, I'll let you put me on TikTok if you give me a reduction in price or whatever. But there are, you know, my father had this thing, it was, I forget the name of it, it was a strange name. He had a little pocket under his epiglottis, and it had some funny name. And the doctor said, oh, we can't do that, you can't get that fixed. They said that because they didn't do it. I did some research, and I found a place in North Carolina where it was an outpatient procedure. So again, you know, now you want to make sure that you do your due diligence, especially with medical or dental, things like that, so check out their reputations. But there's no question that you can save a little bit of money in the medical department. Now, I used to wear contact lenses all the time, but then I discovered that if I go to an optician to get glasses, how much are glasses, prescription glasses, going to cost you these days? $200, $300, $400? Well, online, I found I Buy Direct and kits, and then my favorite is a place called Vooglam. And what I like about Vooglam is not only are the glasses, the frames, inexpensive, but they have all different colors and styles. And wherever I go now, and I wear glasses because it's fun, and I get compliments wherever I go. Oh, I love your glasses, I love your glasses. And so instead of one pair of glasses that cost $400, I have about 10 pairs that don't even cost that. They cost, you know, maybe $100 or $200, you know, for 4 or 5 pairs. So I love this place, Vooglam. So now I'm going to get to travel, because now it's back. So this is Getaways and Globetrotting. Now, there's a lot of places, you know, that you can get emails from that give you better prices on trips or on flights. There's Max Flights, there's Dollar Flight Club, there's a place called Just Get Out of Town, JGOT. So I have a lot of that in the book. But I'm going to tell you about my favorite travel tip. It's almost my favorite tip in the book. How would you like to spend 6 nights at a 4-star resort in Spain for free? Yes. People say, oh, this is impossible. But this is a place called Vaughantown. In Vaughantown, every week they have 15 native English speakers and 15 Spanish business people. And the English-speaking people get breakfast, lunch, dinner, activities, everything is free at the resort. Why? Because the Spanish business people want to practice their conversational English. So you can go, and all you have to do is speak English. You know, people say, oh, I can't go. You know, I don't speak Spanish. But you're not allowed to speak Spanish. You're only allowed to speak English. And I told some girlfriends about it. One, you know, went and she didn't believe me at first, and she went and she said she had the best time ever. In fact, some of the people go there 15 times. I have another girlfriend who went 2 weeks in a row because they have 4 resorts just outside of Madrid. And she went to one resort for 1 week and one resort for the second week. And like I said, all you have to do is speak English. They also have English-speaking people from England and from Ireland and from South Africa. So it's a great chance not only to have a vacation, but to meet people from all over the world and get culture and enjoy yourself. So that's in my book, along with some other things like this, but not, this is my favorite. So I wanted to ask you if you think you can save money, say ka-ching. So that's definitely a ka-ching on my favorite place, Bontown. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my philosophy of the book. Now, you've all heard of rules to live by. Well, I have rules to live like a millionaire by. And my first rule is ask, or as I like to call it, make an ask of yourself. Now, I'm going to give you 3 little examples. One is little, one is a little bigger, and the other one is kind of special. So I had a little throw rug that I wanted to get clean. So I called one of those carpet cleaning places, you know, that you could take it in. And I said, how much is it to get a throw rug clean? They said, oh, it's $120. $120 for a little throw rug. But did I hang up? No. I asked. I said, well, are you having any sales coming up? They said, well, as a matter of fact, we have a sale now. It's 2 for 1. Well, notice they didn't tell me that when I called. But I didn't have 2 rugs. I only had 1. But I had girlfriends, and I thought, well, maybe one of those have a rug. I mean, I know some guys who have a rug, too, but I don't think So I called, and a girlfriend had a rug, and so we both had our rugs cleaned. And instead of costing $120, because I asked, it cost $60. So then, I told you I like to shop at Nordstrom's. And I was shopping around Nordstrom's, and I saw this great royal blue cashmere jacket. I like jackets, as you can tell. So I tried it on, it looked great, and then I looked at the price tag. It was like $1,000. Well, I can't buy that kind of a jacket, but it looked like really nice, you know? So I asked the sales girl, I said, is this going to go on sale? She said, well, I don't know. We have a lot of sales here. And this is my second rule, is make friends. So I said to her, well, you know, can you call me and let me know if it goes on sale? She said, oh, I'd be happy to do that. So, you know, I sort of got friendly with her. So a few weeks later, she called me and she said, oh, your jacket is on sale. It's only $700. I said, well, I don't think so, no. You know? But she would call me every couple of weeks as it went down and down. And finally she called, she said, there's only 1 jacket left, and it's your size. It looks so good on you. It's $300. I said, well, still high, but let me come in and look at it. So I went in and I tried it on. It was nice, but I said, I still don't want to spend $300. She said, wait out here. I'll be right back. She goes in the back. She comes out. She said, I'm going to give you our friends and family price, $149. So I bought it for, you know, an amazing deal. So she used to call me all the time when things were on sale, and it was great. You know, I got all these great deals. And then a few months later, I went back and she wasn't there anymore. I think she got fired. But maybe she's at Neiman's now. But anyway, that's my second ask story. Now, my third ask story. It's not about shopping, really. It's more like man shopping. I was taking a trip to Puerto Rico by myself, and I don't usually like to travel by myself, but nobody wanted to go, so I was going. And I, you know, go to the terminal and go up to the desk, and the clerk says, do you want an aisle seat or a window seat? So I said to her, could you just put me next to a handsome man? She said to me, well, why don't you stand back there, and when you see somebody you like, give me a signal. I said, you know, I can't do that. I said, just give me an aisle seat. She said, okay. You know, so she gave me an aisle seat, and I get on the plane, and I sit down, you know, and then the plane starts filling up, you know, and people are coming down the aisle. And all of a sudden, this really good-looking guy, he walks down the aisle, and he stops at my row, and he, like, puts his luggage in the overhead rack, and then he says, excuse me, and he moves in next to me, and then the doors on the plane close, and takes off, and he turns to me, and he says, You know, it's the weirdest thing. He said, as soon as I told the rep I wanted a window seat, she said, have I got a seat for you? And we talked the whole way, and then that night he took me to dinner, and we went out to dinner the rest of the time and had a great time, and he paid for everything. But it just shows you the value of asking for what you want, you know? So as I said, the second one was make friends. And then the next one is comparative shop or negotiate. And in with this is price matching. You know, we talked about Nordstrom's. And did you know that Nordstrom's will price match? So if you find something at Nordstrom, but you see it somewhere else for less, they will match the price. Now, of course, everybody now has home offices after the pandemic. And Staples and Best Buy also price match. Like, I will never go to Staples or Best Buy and just pick up an item and pay at the register what it says, even if it says it's on sale. Because a lot of times, their sales are actually more expensive than other places, regular prices. So I will price match. We all have phones now, so you can price match on your phone. Or you can even ask the clerk to price match and they'll do it. So whether it's a ink toner or a new computer, I like going where I can see it, but I will always, at Staples and Best Buy, say, will you price match? And I'll look it up. And they even price match to Amazon. So that's something you can do. And you can do it at other stores too, but those stores I know do those three. So the next rule I have is remember what you want. And this is sort of like, you know, if you have a bucket list of something that you want to do, but you can't do it because it's too much money or something. Well, I had a girlfriend, she was very rich. And she used to tell me all the time how she went to Canyon Ranch Spa. I don't know if you know it, but it's a spa in Tucson, Arizona. And they have all kinds of programs, and it's wonderful. But it's about $6,000 for 3 nights. So it's high, and she used to go there like 4 times a year. But I always kept it in my mind that if I ever had the opportunity, I would want to go to Canyon Ranch Spa. So another girlfriend calls me out of the blue one day, and she says to me, she is running a charity auction for bachelors and bachelorettes. And did I want to be a bachelorette? Well, you know, I'm game. I'll try that, you know, whatever. So the thing with this is, it was for the American Lung Association. And all the bachelors and bachelorettes who are being auctioned off, even though it may not be PC, but now the Bachelor and Bachelorette are such popular shows. But you had to arrange your own date. So one of the people got dinner at a fancy restaurant to be their evening. One of the people got, you know, a hot air balloon ride and a picnic. One of the people got a round of golf and lunch at the clubhouse. And I'm thinking, American Lung Association, spa. American Lung Association, spa. So I called up Canyon Ranch Spa. And I said, you know, I'm doing a charity bachelorette auction for the American Lung Association. Would you donate 2 rooms? You know, because I had to have 2 rooms because the guy I wouldn't know, he's just bidding on me. So they said, sure, absolutely. And, you know, I would give them an ad in the program. So they said yes. And I not only got the Canyon Ranch Spa, I got 2 airline tickets, and I got a limo to pick us up from our house and take us to the airport. And so the night of the auction, it was taking place in Oxnard. And Oxnard isn't quite as cool and hip as LA, so I knew it would probably go for less than it would here. But I didn't want somebody terrible bidding on me. So I had a male friend who wanted to go to Canyon Ranch Spa and knew that he would probably get it less than it would normally cost if he did the charity auction, so I brought a shill. So that night, before the auction, they have a cocktail party. So I'm walking around and meeting people, and I met this really cute guy. You know, he was just adorable, and we talked, and he had a lot to talk about. So then the auction happens, and the different people go with their dates, and I was the last one because my date, my evening, was the most expensive item, plus I'm a $1 million gal. So I'm walking down the runway, you know, and there's something, I don't know, it's very exciting having strangers bid on you, right? So it's 200, 300, 500, 700, 800. So at $1,000, there's only two people left, my shill and the handsome stranger. So I'm going to the shill. Mom, it's my me. Well, the handsome stranger won me. Anyway, so it was great fun. And the day of the event, you know, the limo picked him up. He came to my apartment wearing a white Panama suit. Who wears a suit to a spa, right? And he brought me flowers. And we flew and we went to Canyon Ranch Spa. We did not end up being a romantic couple. But the point is, I got to go to Canyon Ranch Spa for free. Because I remembered what I wanted. And he ended up going back other times because he enjoyed it so much. So that's really, you know, you want to remember what you want. And then, carpe diem. You want to seize the moment when an opportunity presents itself. And my main last rule for living like a millionaire is have fun. Enjoy the moment. You know, if this last few years has taught us anything, it's you never know what's coming next. So go out and enjoy, find things that you like to do, and if you can save money doing it, that's great, you know? And so I want to tell you, you know, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. So I wanted to have a reception afterwards, right? So I thought, well, I can go to Costco and buy pastries, or I can go to Trader Joe's and get some wine. But is that what the author of this book would do? No. I made some calls, and the calls that I made, I got some lovely mini cupcakes donated by Uppers Cafe and Bakery. And I got some wine donated by a place called the Wine Blending Lab that's on West Adams, and they have all kinds of events there and stuff that's fun. And even without even asking, a woman from Buy Nothing said, "Oh, I want to make some desserts for you." So, you know, so I'm having an event, of course, a reception afterwards, and I'm also going to be signing books if anybody would like to buy a book. What I've told you tonight is just the tip of the iceberg. I have so many more things in here that will help you enjoy life and have a great time and not spend a lot of money, and even millionaires like it, you know? And if you already have a book, as I know some of you do, you can give them as friends. If the holidays are coming, buy it as a gift for somebody. I have a girlfriend who actually bought 18 copies every time someone has a birthday. She calls it the gift that keeps on giving. Because, you know, it keeps telling you all the different ways that you can enjoy life and have fun. And I also have copies of Never Kiss a Frog and Dishonor Their Father. But and I have a few other things that you might like for the holidays since that's coming up. So I'm so glad you came here. I want to thank the Santa Monica Playhouse. And I can tell you, you know, I know a lot of you, so you know my name, Marilyn Anderson. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marilyn Anderson. But, you know, people are always saying to me, "Well, you don't look like an Anderson. You know, did you change your name to go into show business?" And I tell them, no, Marilyn Anderson is my real name. I did not change it. In fact, my great-great-great-grandfather was Hans Christian Rabinowitz. He changed his name to go into show business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marilyn. It's always a pleasure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris DiCarlo. I'm one of the co-artistic directors here at Playhouse. Not that you should know me. It has become customary in the last several years for one of our senior members to come out here at the end of every production and extend you our deepest gratitude. Me being the seniorist, I've been here since 1964, with the exception of 2 years in Vietnam, 67, 69. Why am I coming out here and extending our gratitude? Well, most people think, well, I bought a ticket. In this case, you didn't buy a ticket, but you got here. You sat in the seat and you endured the entire production. And that is a special gift you give yourself when you sit in that seat. As I said, I survived Vietnam in 1969. In 1999, 30 years after the fact, I had a thought. And the thought was, our humanity is our most precious resource. It seems to me to be imperative we do all we can in our lives to nurture our capacity to experience and share that with ourselves and those around us. And when you sit in that seat, you're giving yourself that opportunity because you're being exposed to thoughts, ideas, situations, conditions, relationships that you may never wish to entertain, and yet there you are. And contrary to popular opinion, theater is not a spectator event. When you sit in that seat and you endure the production, you're hit. And you walk out the door with food for thought and contemplation. And that process gives you the possibility of stepping out of your comfort zone, possibly looking at the world through a different lens, and that may give you the opportunity to be a little more accepting, a little more tolerant, a little more understanding, a little more empathetic, a little more human. And that gift is a precious gift that you give yourself every time you sit in that seat. You give it to yourself, you give it to those around you, and you give it to the artists on stage. And so personally and for the Playhouse, I wish to say to each and every one of you, thank you, thank you. Many of you may not know Playhouse history. We were founded in 1960, and it wasn't until March 4, 2020 that we'd ever had a dark week, or dark night at all. And then for almost 3 years, we were, like all the theaters around the world, we were shuttered. Now at that time there was funds to support us to pivot to other means of delivery and so forth. But now we're in recovery. And as you can see, we're not full. Why not? People aren't coming back the same way they used to. And the only way we're going to get people back is for each and every one of you to become an advocate for this process. It's so important to our culture, to our lives, so that we can continue to nurture that humanity as we intermingle and share ideas and thoughts that may not be popular, that may not be interesting to us until we open our eyes and process. So that is, we have 20 some odd events left in our festival. It's all free. So tell your friends, have them come, see, enjoy, experience. The other way you can help, it's very simple. As all the theaters are in difficulties right now, as we are, we have a little basket. We call it Save the Playhouse basket. And if you can put a little something in that as you leave, it will be deeply appreciated. So thank you for being here, and please do what you can.
Yeah, I thought she was going to. Me too. She said she did it every.
But that's a good idea, like pulling it up.
You know, I think so. When I was in my 20s, I knew how to cut my hair myself, but I don't remember how to do it. I bet you go on YouTube, everything's on YouTube.
Oh, it's upside. Well, I like that idea. You have to do that here.
I like how it's kind of layered.
Hey,
I know, that's why I came.
surprise.
But you were great. And you know what? I've seen you do this a million years ago, but you're still great.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you. I'm doing okay, yeah. I mean, I said, there's a lot of work here because I'm not just the writer and the performer, I'm the caterer, I'm the prop master and the costume. It's a lot of work.
I know, I understand, but you know what? It's great.
Yeah, well, good.
And you have friends that turned out,
Yeah.
but that's nice too.
I'm gonna go outside, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I bought another copy.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna sign it.
Yeah, you can sign it another time.
Oh, okay.
I had a bottle of water here, gone.
Well, there's water outside.
Okay.
As usual, Marilyn, it was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Trying to get this cleaned up. I want to come out there.
Okay.